Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kennedy. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I love you. And today we're going to be talking about lucky girl syndrome. If you have a similar algorithm or For You page like I do, then you've probably already seen it over the past few months. But I really wanted to do a deep dive and explain what lucky girl syndrome is, how you can use it, where it came from, and successes that people have had from it. So first, I kind of want to clarify. Lucky girl syndrome is not actually something that you can be diagnosed with. Although, if you want to self-diagnose yourself with it, I think that would be like the way to go. But it's a state of mind. It's a mindset. So it's essentially a concept that states like every single thing is working out for you, no matter what it looks like and no matter what's going on around you. And I think, and it's funny because like as a spiritual coach and like as a mindset manifestation coach, like this is the mindset that you want people to develop. And the fact that lucky girl syndrome has caught so much traction over the past few months, even though the concept derives from the law of assumption, is like, to me, a positive thing, because although people might not necessarily know exactly where it came from, the fact that they are being able to implement this into their lives is a really big deal, and it's going to be beneficial for them in the long run who stay consistent with it and develop this as a permanent mindset, something that the subconscious believes is true, and then can just manifest things into your life like that. But again, we'll go a little bit deeper into that later in this video, or if you're listening on the podcast, later in this podcast episode. So first, I'm going to talk about where lucky girl syndrome came from and what it's derived from, which is the law of assumption. This is something that I practice in my everyday life, and it's something that I also teach my clients to practice, and it's something that a lot of my closest friends practice as well, and it's the holy grail, I promise you that. And so if you start applying the law of assumption, you will start to see drastic changes in your life, and you're going to be shocked. It's not something that could fail. Like, it's like almost a fail-safe option, and this is really how you should be manifesting forward. It's the embodiment, it's the becoming what you want to receive, essentially, and that is one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself. The law of assumption is a concept that came from Neville Goddard, and he was one of the leaders in the New Thought movement, and he basically stated that whatever you assume to be true and accept as a fact will become true. So your assumptions will harden into fact. So if I, for example, if I were to assume that everyone hates me, and I keep telling myself that to where my subconscious mind receives it as a fact, then I will nonetheless run into circumstances where I am the most hated person, and I'm getting evidence of that belief, of that assumption that I had created. So this also goes with the term, which I think I talked about in my last podcast episode, the Bible verse that's Mark 11:24, that says, whatever you ask for, believe you have received it and it will be yours. And essentially, this is the exact same thing. Like, whatever you believe to be true will be yours. And the Bible verse doesn't say only positive things. If you only believe positive things, like these things will be yours. It's talking about like the dualistic way of the world. And basically, if you believe in negative things as well, then those things will also be yours. So that's why being very intentional with your mind and cultivating a garden in your mind instead of having weeds here and there is really, really, really important. Anyways, Neville heavily talked. All of Neville's teachings were derived from the Bible. He basically interprets the Bible as a spiritualist and explains how the universe works and how you manifest things into your reality, and also how reality unfolds for you based off of your beliefs, subconscious impressions, and assumptions that you have. He also talks heavily about self-concept, which is a really, really big concept on this channel, because self-concept is the way in which you live, and that basically states that the way that you see yourself is the way that the world sees you as well. You are being reflected back what you believe about yourself, what you believe about the world, and what you believe about others. So people are going to always confirm what you have inside, and so it's like as within, so without. And that is basically where lucky girl syndrome was originated from. So you might be asking, how can you apply lucky girl syndrome or the law of assumption in your everyday life to really attract and manifest these things that you want. And the way that I've done it, and I'll give you a few examples of what I manifested, such as like my car and my new living destination, like where I'm going to move to. I've manifested really big job opportunities in the past few months. Mind you, I've had the law of assumption in my life for about 2 years now, actually. But, it takes some belief work, it takes some inner work, and of course you're going to constantly be reflected back to you. And it's honestly a really humbling concept as well, I just like to note, because you really start to see how the inner conversations that you have and the inner beliefs and the things that are like stuck in your subconscious, those things really do play out through the course of your life. And when you're able to acknowledge it, you're able to work on it, you're able to change it, reprogram, integrate new beliefs, and then you're able to see like reality literally shift in front of you with people, with relationships, with friendships, no matter what it is. With job opportunities, you start to really see that who you are embodying, what you believe about yourself and the world, the moment that you shift those things within yourself is the moment that it starts instantaneously shifting. And one of the biggest concepts with Lucky Girl Syndrome is to believe that everything is working out for me, no matter what it looks like. And the reason why these two concepts, even though they're derived from the same foundation, the reason why these two work together so well is because the moment that you start changing internally is the moment that your reality starts shifting. Now, you won't necessarily see the evidence of it instantaneously unless you have the belief system, like true belief system, that you start to see things instantaneously. But most people have the belief that things are going to occur with consistency, which is very true. And so the moment that you start to be more consistent and you really start to ingrain the belief in your subconscious is the moment that you will start to see the shifts and you will start to see the changes. So I really do recommend you guys to do these. And it's a fail safe. Like, what's the worst that can happen if you try out Lucky Girl Syndrome or law of assumption? Like, worst case scenario, you have a better mindset, you have a better perspective on life. And best case scenario, you start to manifest everything that you want. The way to actually implement Lucky Girl Syndrome, I would say not everyone comes with limiting beliefs, and that's something that I work with my clients on, and that's something that I also plan to teach other people through my channel and through my podcast, if you're listening to my podcast, about, is to identify what your limiting beliefs are and then being able to shift those and integrate those into beliefs that are actually going to serve you. And that is the first step to implementing Lucky Girl Syndrome. Beliefs run your life. Those are the things that are stopping you. There are no limits to what you can achieve, to what you can have, to what you can do, other than the ones that you impose upon yourself. When you're identifying your limiting beliefs, this is what I would recommend. I'll probably put an example somewhere on the screen. I would recommend writing out a piece of paper over whatever area that you are trying to fix. So if it's money, then I would put my limiting beliefs on one side, and then I'd put a line through the middle of the paper. And on the other side of the paper, I would write a belief that contradicts that basically states why it is possible for you, why you are worthy of it. So for example, my previous belief might be money doesn't grow on trees, money isn't easily accessible, money is hard to come by, money is hard to keep, only rich people have money, whatever it may be. And then on the other side, it would be I am worthy of money, money loves me, money is easily accessible, abundance is my birthright, like whatever contradicts the opposite, if that makes sense. And those are going to be the new standard and the new beliefs that you are integrating. And so while you're integrating those, you have to have a strict mental diet. So once you identify your limiting beliefs and once you start to create new beliefs that would serve you, you have to have a strict mental diet to where you are consciously paying attention to maybe not every single thought, but you are consciously trying to monitor all the thoughts that you're having in your head. And when you notice one that doesn't align with what you want to attract or want to manifest, then that is when you would stop yourself and be like, whoa, I don't identify with that belief anymore. That is not true for me. I am more than worthy to have XYZ. I am more than capable of maintaining XYZ. This is my birthright. This is made for me. God loves me. God is providing for me. Whatever it may be, those are the things that you're going to repeat to yourself. certain beliefs have been with you for so long is because they serve you in some way, whether that be positive or negative. Your subconscious likes to be safe, and the moment that you start to change things up in there, it doesn't feel safe. It feels like it's a threat. And so you have to tell your brain that, hey, like, changing this belief is actually going to be better for me. I'm going to be happier. I'm going to be more relaxed. My anxiety will be a lot less. I won't have worry. And so your brain will start to see that as a pro instead of a con. Then we have being consistent. And of course, it takes a little bit of time for your brain to accept something as true. And so I would say a minimum of 30 days, like, create a routine where you are saying these affirmations to yourself. I personally recommend having a belief tape on. Dylan James has the absolute best belief tapes. I know Lior just put out a new belief tape, so I'll link those both below in the description, or if you're listening to the podcast, I'll make sure that I put that in the footnotes. I will also make a playlist with my favorite sleep tapes. I'm going to be making some soon, and I have some more meditations and some more subliminals coming out soon, so I really hope that y'all stay tuned and listen and wait for those. But Lucky Girl Syndrome will change your life, and I think it's up to you to really implement it and to, take control of your reality. The moment that I started taking control of my reality and really being able to sit with myself, identify my limiting beliefs, do shadow work, start to see like why I was creating the same cycles with, people and friendships, and just in general, why I didn't feel worthy of certain business opportunities, or why I felt like I wasn't going to be good at something, or whatever it may be. The moment that I shifted my mindset to believe that every single thing was working out for me is the moment that every single thing started working out for me. And I know the moment that you implement it and start being consistent and taking advantage of the fact that you are a creator is the moment that you will be living in harmony and manifest every single thing that you want. That's all I have for you guys today. I really hope that you liked it. Leave something in the comments, maybe be an affirmation, how Lucky Girl Syndrome has worked for you, if you have used it, and if this video was helpful. I love y'all so much. If you want to book any coaching with me, go to aurawellness.com. I'll put that on the screen, and I'll make sure to put it in the description below. I have new meditations coming out that you can buy. I have subliminals that you can request, and I have a lot of free resources on there as well as a blog, as well as a newsletter that will give you daily tips and tricks for manifesting the life that you deserve and you desire. So thank you so much for being with me. I love y'all so much, and see you in the next one.